Born in Murcia, Spain, near the Mediterranean, Manolo Sánchez was the oldest of 4 boys.
As a child, I was influenced by different business folks, starting with my own father, who was in the cattle raising and farming business. And I learned about the risk and the challenges of running your own business, and the sleepless nights. I also was exposed to banking from a very young age. My father would take me to the bank, and I would see all the action around the receivables, how they were processing them. Everything was very manual at the time, but I have a very vivid recollection about the banking part of my dad's business, and my exposure to that sort of grew an early liking for me to the banking industry.
Manolo's father encouraged him to study abroad and learn languages. After spending time in Ireland and Germany, his greatest opportunity came in 1982 when he arrived in East Greenwich, Rhode Island, as an exchange student for his senior year of high school. To fit in at first, he took the SATs and applied to Yale University, where he earned his bachelor's degree. Education was critical.
I got accepted to Yale University in New Haven, Connecticut, and got some financial aid. And I called my parents and I said, I got accepted to Yale, and in Spain, that we don't have the sound Y, so they call it jail. So like I said, I'm going to jail. They say, you're going to jail. And I had to teach them that jail is not the same thing as Yale. You have to pronounce it correctly. But education is what brought me to this country. And it's really one of the most amazing things about the U.S. The U.S. has probably for sure the best universities in the world. And like University of Houston and like many other institutions I've gone to know, this is a very, very unique environment in the world where folks come together because they really want to learn, and they want to research, and they want to exchange ideas, and this is extremely powerful.
Spain had only become a democracy after the death of Francisco Franco in 1975, and this proved a fertile learning ground for a 10-year-old Manolo. He also remembers the first democratic elections in Spain, and at age 15 witnessed a short-lived coup d'etat.
I saw a referendum to decide on having a constitution. I saw people go out and vote for a constitution. Growing up, for me, was like a coming of age to the value of freedom, to the value of democracy, to the value of having freedom of expression, and doing away with censorship. Spain had many decades of censorship. People were not able to speak up and say what they thought. So the U.S. was kind of a dreamland of the cradle of democracy. I remember just listening to my parents and elders, and they have these meals and they have this very hours of conversation afterward, and they were talking. It would be like listen to Socrates in his academy, talking to students about political philosophy. Where's mankind? Why should we be free to rule our destiny, and representative democracy? It was a very fascinating time. And as a kid, I heard all versions. There was communism, there was liberals, there were conservatives. It was really very, very interesting times.
Living in the United States, Manolo recognized the attributes of the mature democracy at work.
I guess when I came to the U.S., what I saw was a mature democracy where people, in a way, kind of take it for granted that, the freedom they had, they didn't have to go sort of fight for it. I mean, the U.S. has got the fortune of, 200 years of democracy and really being the cradle of the whole concept. So, but people have a civility. I could see democracy in a mature way where organizations, communities were really having those dialogues that there was civil, there were civility, there was constructiveness, there was respect. People were able to express freely about what their thoughts. So it was a very, very interesting sort of for me to move from that, democracy in the making to this, the mother of democracies, and see it work for real.
Manolo made his first trip to Houston during a spring break trip to Padre Island his senior year. He remembers thinking Houston was the antithesis of Europe, with everyone in their cars, few sidewalks, and little public transportation. Now the chairman of BBVA Compass, U.S. country manager, he sees Houston in a different light.
Many years later, I came back to Houston, and the reason we bought these banks in Texas is because Texas is really one of the most dynamic economies in the nation. Second largest economy, huge growth over the last few years, a lot of growth creation. It really is, we love Texas and we love Houston because it's a high energy, can-do culture. People really don't see limitations in what, and they don't carry all this legacy on their shoulders, and that sort of crushes their aspirations in life. It's incredibly diverse, open, welcoming. So we're very excited to be in Houston. We've enjoyed all the great things about the city, and it's really inspired us to grow our business.
Manolo continues to see the United States as a land of opportunity for immigrants who work hard and respect the country's traditions, which he finds quite meaningful. He sees the University of Houston as an important stepping stone to their future success, and the city of Houston as a model for the future.
Well, I'm very grateful and very honored to be recognized tonight, and I am mostly very much inspired, and I do greatly admire the work that the University of Houston does in helping immigrants.